Good evening and welcome to Brownsville Night at 9. We have a lot to talk about this evening. Great to see y'all. We are missing Tim tonight because he actually fell asleep in the courthouse and Carlos just left him there. We'll get started with the meat and the potatoes right away, introducing y'all to my buddy Carlos Elizondo that was sitting in court today, and beneath us now is all the way from Santo Dominico, Mr. Sergio Ligo. I reside somewhere in Brownsville. All right, guys. How are y'all doing this evening?
So far, so good, buddy. So far, so good.
Pretty good. Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday. I did get word that there will be another principals meeting this Tuesday on Election Day of all days. And the principals are frustrated. They don't see the need for having another meeting, so quickly. So, we ask ourselves, what's the purpose of this? But again, that's BISD for you. Got a lot to talk about. Carlos has some great information that happened today at Sylvia Atkinson's trial, day 5. We also will be talking about money that was paid by the district. So glad to be here, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, guys.
All right, give us the meat and potatoes. Let's get to this.
Already? We just started. Let's drag it out for a little bit. We need to get more people in here.
Day 5. Half of the people that are watching right now probably are at happy hour. So their attention span may be a little short. And you know what? Yes. Let me tell y'all real quick so we don't have to answer question after question. Here's a recap. Erasmo will not be on the show until the end of the trial or the prosecution rests. And believe me, he's going crazy. If you have a troll doll with a hair up in the air, that's him. Just wiggle it around the air and say, hey, look, Erasmo. Because he is so frustrated, and he's been telling everyone in this community what has been going on, and nobody believed him. And now it's coming to fruition. Now it's unfolding before your eyes. And how many people in the city of Brownsville, the who's who of Brownsville, is coming out in these matters?
Correct.
For those of you wondering where Erasmo is, he will not be here until the end of the trial, or if the prosecution rests. We are on day 5. The people that have come out, names have come out, are John Cowan, Minerva Peña, are the top of the list from the BISD school board. You have city officials, city commissioners that names have been put on the list. Today we'll find out who else has come out. We have so much to talk about, so let's just get to it. We've got, like I said, we have vendors that have been a part of most of what's happening today. Mr. Lopez, Mr. Escobedo. There's been mention of our mayor, 3 city commissioners. We have the school board from with Minerva Peña, because she has been kind of, I want to say in my opinion, is kind of the right-hand person to all of this. TSC board, a judge. So let's just get to the meat and the gravy there, Carlos. What happened today?
The meat and the gravy. So they started again day number 5, Sylvia Atkinson's bribery trial. And so we still had the undercover agents, so we had to be at the other courthouse. So they were talking about cooperating individuals, texts and emails between each other, and then Rodrigo Moreno being the cooperating witness. And so they were trying to muddy up the waters here. They didn't do a very, very good job. It ended really, really quick. So then they started with the defense witnesses who the defense is going to bring in to testify on behalf of Sylvia Atkinson, and none other than, guess who? Vito, Frankie, I'll give you one.
Let's see. Can I get a hint? Can I phone a friend?
He looks like Papa Smurf, and he works for the district.
I would say our board attorney.
Bingo, Baltasar Salazar, number one witness for the defense. So guess what was that a surprise, guys?
Oh no, and
witness number two for the defense, Sylvia Atkinson's side. That one is probably gonna be a little hard to guess, but I'll let you guess. Come on, guys. Anybody out there? Throw some names.
Anybody? I mean, it's kind of hard. I mean, just with Baltasar, if being an attorney, did he plead the fifth?
Well, these are the witnesses that were going to be called out. So they have to name the witnesses that are going to be there, so that way the government can prepare also as well. It can't just be a surprise last minute thing. So they have to actually put their witnesses out and say who's going to be called in. Okay. So Salazar is one of them, and the next one, of course, is.
Before we get to how many witnesses were on the list, just two for the
two is what they put out. They had more, but they only named two right now. Okay. So about one of them, and the next one is, of course, our adorable Mayor Trey Mendez.
Okay.
So just that's who they were going to bring in. They didn't get to that because they were still working on the. They were working on Mr. Coblin, Agent Coblin. He's the attorney for. Well, he's actually an FBI agent, also an attorney. And so he's the one that focuses on public corruption. So he is the one that was out there on the stand today. The actual government.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry, Tim, that is taller than his twin brother, Jim. It will not be on with us this evening. He is in a road trip with his wife. So we thank him for the hours that he put in this, the first 4 days. As you can see, it's only us three, and we'll get back to Carlos now.
We're ready?
Yeah.
So anyways, so what happened is what they were trying to do is they were setting up the whole case with Agent Coblin, who was one of the I guess the agents that was in charge of this case. And so they set it out from the beginning to end, and we've said what it is: day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. So we're day 5 now. So they're just reiterating and recapping everything that Sylvia Atkinson has done, right? And so, but what was very important, guys, is that Sylvia Atkinson was, of course, trying to make a deal with the government. So she was called in by the FBI on 8/22, and of course she said that she was not guilty. She didn't do anything. Hi, Luis. She didn't do anything, right? Well, she decided to come back on 8/24. On 8/24 is a very interesting meeting because there she was actually saying the same thing, kind of like, I didn't do it. They showed a little bit of what had happened, right? And so, so what happened there was she's still claiming that she didn't do it. She's telling the FBI agents she didn't do it. They showed her the video, they showed her the emails, and she finally pleads. She admits her wrongdoing. She admits committing this crime. And this is where we're at today. So today they were corroborating, that she had said that she had done it. The defense is claiming that they coerced her into saying that she did it under, duress, that she didn't have a lawyer present. But this was in a position where they call it, you volunteer the information.
Yes, Miss Miller, vote for Miss Argelia Miller because Mr. Vito está no muy guapo. Thank you, Miss Miller. I adore you. I love you. It's been a fun 3 weeks with you. But no vote por Miss Miller porque está en contra de Erasmo y dice que está feo y gordo. Go ahead, Carl.
So anyway, so they brought in that the defense was using the consulting as a defense. She was a consultant. In one of the recordings, she's mentioned that she was consulting. So that's what they were grabbing onto, right? And so they were continuing to tell this agent, she's a consultant. Well, the defense comes out and they start going back to the ex-cal check. The ex-cal check is a check for $2,000 that was given to that Sylvia Atkinson asked this corporation to give them a check. Unfortunately, because of corporation, they cannot give monies to candidates. So that was an illegal donation. Well, guess what, guys? The defense is solely putting a lot of emphasis on the consulting aspect of her being able to collect these monies, right? And then the defense asked the government, do you know who XCal is? Yes. They're a company from Houston, right? That does business with BIZ. Do you know that Sylvia Atkinson was consulting for this firm? This is the reason that she was able to ask for these checks. And says, yeah, okay. And then the defense asked, did you ever interview the owner, Mr. Tim Brown? And the defense says, yes. We also interviewed the wife, and they gave a statement. And that statement was this, guys. The statement was that XCal has done millions and millions of dollars worth of selling products to BISD. But yet they also added that XCal has paid hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to their consultant. You want to guess who the consultant was? Sylvia Atkinson was a consultant for XCal who collected hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars for XCal selling millions and millions of dollars to the district. Wow. She was a board member voting on these contracts.
Carlos, what do you think? And for a little bit more clarification,
Mhm.
who was this vendor? What services did they provide to the school district? How, if you know, how long have they been a client of the district?
They didn't go up to say how long they've been working with the district. What they did mention is they had millions and millions of dollars, right, of BIZ monies. And they also mentioned that they had paid consulting fees of over hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to Sylvia Atkinson. What they did say is this company is, I think they were saying it's more like a software company. They sell, I wrote it down. It's called iStation. I don't know what that is. I talked to a teacher. They said they use it to I guess for the kids. So not only is it iStation, but other softwares. So, but they do have a contract with BSD worth millions and millions of dollars. But what was important is not that they spent the money. Nothing illegal about BIZ spending the money on this company. What was the problem was that Sylvia Atkinson was a consultant who was pushing these contracts with BIZ while she was a board member. The other thing is important is that they were claiming that she didn't know that she had violated the ethics rule by conflict of interest, and so she should have filled out this conflict of interest form that every board member fills out if there's any conflict whatsoever with any vendors doing business with the district. Well, she was claiming that she didn't know that. Well, guess what? The government pulls out a conflict of interest form that Sylvia Atkinson signed for XCal while doing business with the district. So she was full aware that she had violated those rules and laws. So that defense had to been thrown out. I mean, it was just shot down because they showed that evidence where she actually knew what she had done. She had done it in the past. She knew there was a conflict of interest. She needed to sign this form like she did with XCal. Yet she still went out there and voted on it to collect hundreds and hundreds of thousands of our dollars.
Carlos, today, did Ruben Obel testify?
No, not yet.
Is he expected to?
They actually brought his name out today at the end. They said that they might not, that the government is probably going to rest tomorrow after they're done with Agent Colvin, because they still need a little bit more, maybe a redirect. But they did mention they might bring him, but they're about 95%, sure that they won't. But he's still a witness.
On Monday, there's a possibility that Ruben Obel might testify.
Correct.
Or, and this is on Monday because you said tomorrow. Are they going to have court?
I've been there all week. I apologize. It's Monday. It's Monday. My days are all mixed up. Being there every day, all day.
Carlos, so going back to XCal. XCal is a vendor that provides a service for BISD. They got into a written contractual agreement with Sylvia Atkinson, who is a sitting board member for BISD. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So then they hired her as a consultant, but
Correct.
under their contract, under their stipulation, they state there that there is a conflict of interest. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So even though that her being a board member and them acknowledging that there's a conflict of interest, that stopped them from them paying her a certain amount of money. And how much was that certain amount of money?
Well, see, that's the kicker there. There was no conflict in paying her the money if she was not doing business with BIZ, because if you a little bit lower, they have these what they call target list. They have a target list of all the school districts that she was hired to go and try and get business for, right, for this company. Well, under there, they have a stipulation saying there will be no business done with BIZ, or Brownsville Independent School District. Right underneath there, they put in the clause of the conflict of interest clause, which she signed, which also says how much they're going to pay Atkinson, which was $5,000 a month for her services. Yet the contracts that were being pushed by Sylvia Atkinson were in Brownsville because they were the biggest ones. So XCal didn't really do anything wrong. Who the person that was doing the illegal stuff was Atkinson, actively engaged in pushing these contracts at BIZ. So XCal Corp is a training system for industry and education. That's what they are, and they're from Houston, Texas.
So how does that work? So you just said that the company itself did nothing wrong because they acknowledged that there was a conflict of interest. Is that correct?
Correct.
So it is upon Sylvia Atkinson to then acknowledge that there is a conflict of interest, for her to file a form acknowledging that that there is something wrong.
Correct.
That she cannot vote on it.
Right, because she's an employee. She's actively engaged in collecting monies or compensation from this company, that's doing business at BIZ. That was a conflict. You see, and the biggest thing here is that she should have refrained from voting. She should have been vocal in telling other members, I must abstain from this. I cannot engage in any type of dialogue for either for or against this company, because I'm an employee of the company per se, under the consulting aspect of it. And plus, she's collecting a paycheck. But yet she failed to do that. She failed to tell the district. She failed to tell anybody that she's actually being compensated by consulting for this firm.
Hey Vito, there was something about Baltasar's nephew. You want to touch on that?
I did hear that Baltas' nephew Louis Bella got into an incident. I don't have the full details. Do y'all have anything that y'all might add? My understanding is that he was arrested.
He was arrested.
I'm not sure. Like I'm saying, I believe, but I'm not sure. It's one of those where it's rumored out there, but us guys, we only do facts.
Based on my understanding, he was targeting students of his. He is a teacher or in charge of the yearbook or photographer at Porter High School. He was reaching out. He was fondling or touching his students or his ex-students, which made them uncomfortable. And I believe he has yet to be arrested. Administration has been notified, and I believe there was a police report because there was 7 to 8 young females, students, who did make an outcry regarding this situation. But BISD is aware. the superintendent is aware of I'm not even call him Mister, but of Vera's um, accusations. So we'll wait and see what the
They,
process is.
they're alleged accusations so far, right?
Correct.
Let me
It's
ask you this, Frankie. Was the principal was she proactive? Was she reacted to the situation? And if she was she advocating for the student, or did she wait till someone actually presented it to her so she can do something? Because I know sometimes this is what happens there. Was she being forthright, involved actively in protecting the student or not?
Carlos, I'll be very honest with you in the community. I do know that she is aware. She did mention that she will look into it. Again, this is dealing with the board attorney's nephew. Right now, BISD, all eyes are on BISD. So I would expect Miss Solis, I would expect Dr. Rene Gutierrez to handle this very, very seriously, because at the end of the day, this is dealing with students. And as we all know, if there is a crime and it does not get reported, these individuals could possibly get prosecuted for this, because again, at the end of the day, it deals with students and the teacher relationship. So that is something that we are going to be monitoring. We are going to be following these next few days. We hope that they get to the bottom of this, regarding these female students.
and I believe there'll be more info on that in the morning show at 9 a.m. with Erasmo, because I'm sure he's probably digging deep into this, being
Guys,
that it was,
if your principal or your administrators at school level don't want to do anything, please report them. If you need to reach out to us so we can be your voice because they're not doing anything, please let us know. Just go ahead and talk to either Frankie, myself, or Vito. We will be the voice for you guys. We will report this if we need to. We're not going to hold back. We're not going to stand behind anybody's skirt. These things need to be reported immediately, and things need to get done as fast as possible. I cannot sit here and say, you know what, we're going to take a backseat approach like Eddie Garcia does to everything else. It must be reported. It must be acted upon immediately. We need to protect all kids.
It was confirmed to me that he was in the HR department today at 4 p.m. Whether he was answering questions, whether he was submitting his resignation, that is yet to be confirmed by Brownsville Talk. But we did get confirmation that Vera, his name's, is it Luis? His name's slipping away from me, but I do know his name. Luis Vera was at the HR department today at 4 p.m. We do not know the details of that, but hopefully it is. We'll get better confirmation tomorrow, or if not Monday for sure. So going back to the trial, Carlos, you had XCal, the situation of the XCal. How did the defense counter to the federal government's argument that there was a conflict of interest and that Sylvia Atkinson was receiving money from this company?
Well, after that was brought up by the government, where they showed this conflict of interest form, and they showed where the actual testimony from the owners, where they were saying that they did do business with the school district, and it was in the millions of dollars worth of it. But they also gave testimony to the government saying that they paid Sylvia Atkinson not thousands, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars is what they said. So that added a big blow to their. She didn't know that she was doing something legal. She was only consulting. This conflict of interest form for consulting services completely shows that Sylvia Atkinson was aware of what she was doing it, and she did it anyway, knowing it was illegal, knowing it was a bribe, knowing that it was not in the best interest of the school district. So that kind of, at that point, that deflated the defense's, she was consultant theory. And so they started now switching gears into, well, did you know that the defendant actually reached out to the board attorney, Baltasar Salazar, and took advice from him for putting this agenda on. So that's where we're at. That's where this ended today, where they're bringing in the Baltasar Salazar to now throw cover for Sylvia Atkinson. So we have to just wait and see. Hi, husband. And so what happens is this, guys, is that the state, I mean, the government, before they left for the day, right? We'll go into some more of the details, right? But just to hit on this is they actually, when they mentioned Baltasar Salazar, the government came back real quick and said, he's not a credible witness, Judge. He's not a credible witness. He's been picked up and arrested for felony charges of theft by check. He has a DWI. He also has lied, because when they did the expungement, he came over and said that it was expunged when the actuals, I think it's the 13th Court of Appeals, or I'm not sure what court level, returned it because the state said that is not an expungible offense. And so they added it back to his record. So noticing that he had lied once more. So they're saying he has to be impeached as a character witness or as a witness for the defense, because he has failed to be truthful to the court system in the past. So the judge is going to take it and is going to give his answer on Monday.
Carlos, you spoke about hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars that the company said that they either gave or that they've given Sylvia Atkinson. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So, Vito, based on the indictment, the government only alleges $10,000 from the movie deal. Hasn't Erasmo Castro been saying millions and millions of dollars previously?
Correct. And this has been going on since 2013 that they've been investigating her. So you just take those years and average it out. If and times it times probably 4, and we'd be at a good figure, knowing what's taken already.
And Vito, this is one vendor of hundreds that BISD has. So based on this one vendor at one school district, and remember, she's got history in Socorro, history in Los Fresnos, Rio Hondo, and BISD. So there's 4 school districts that she had her hand on, and the government, for whatever reason, only that we know right now, has testified through testimony that she accepted hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that's just one vendor, guys.
That's correct.
And we can speculate. You know, she gave bribes for votes to Minerva Peña and my opponent, Philip Cowan. How many times has she done that in the past that she didn't get caught in?
I'm glad you mentioned that, Vito, because that came out. That came out again, where Sylvia Atkinson had taken money as a bribe and had paid other board members so that they can all vote on her agenda item. This is in case she has bought votes and other board members, Philip Cowan and Minerva Peña, had sold them. This is what we're talking about. That's the most illegal thing you can do. Where is the transparency that they talk about? Yeah. Where is the integrity that they talk about? Where is BISD proud? What are you proud of, guys? You're selling your votes, you're buying your votes, and you're stealing the money of millions and millions from our school district. And Osmo has said it many, many times over. This is it, and there's still more to come. It's not even over, guys. This is just day 5. Day 5 has already discovered that there has been millions and millions of dollars being stolen from one board member with the help of the rest. The slate, Drew Brown, Percy Timpton, Philip Cowan, Minerva Peña. You're talking about individuals here with the biggest budget. Then they reflect back to Rio Hondo, Frankie. They go back to Rio Hondo and they bring back, where thousands of dollars were stolen from there too. Contract negotiations being given underneath the
Carlos, I don't mean to interrupt you, but Sylvia's pick. I know, but because you were on a trail and you missed out on someone.
All right. Thank you.
fill in the empty seat was Eddie Garcia.
Correct. The reason Eddie Garcia was put on there is because he's a yes man. He's a yes vote. It's proven. It hasn't been hidden. He doesn't know how to stand on his own 2 feet. He doesn't know how to be able to lead the charge. He falls behind the skirt. Atkinson's skirt. He gets told what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. You're a yes boy. You're a little yes boy. And you've shown that. When you allow two pedophiles, convicted pedophiles, an 8-year-old being raped by a man, and then a 13-year-old girl raped by another one, and you bring them to your camp and you put their shirt on them, and then you parade them around town, around our schools, around our children, you are a follower and not a leader. That's the kind of people we do not need in the school district. We need people like Frankie and Vito and Azo, myself, the people that are going to stand up even against all this oppression and all this, badgering, is bullying. That's who you need, guys.
Hey, Carlos, Vicky Yen wants to know about Rio Hondo. Very quickly, what happened with Escobedo Rio Hondo tablets?
Well, there you go. That was going to be my next thing. What they were talking about was kickbacks. A lot of kickbacks for tablets at Rio Hondo. The FBI was very familiar with Jaime Escobedo, is what they said. They've been looking into Jaime Escobedo for a long time. Rodrigo Moreno has been recording Jaime Escobedo for years. 2013. This goes back to TSC contracts, go back to the city, goes back to BISD, goes to the Rio Hondo, Los Fresnos. They have recordings after recordings after recordings from all these individuals that have been doing business with Rodrigo Moreno. And even now, even Sylvia Atkinson today, in their testimony where she wanted to go to get maybe a leniency by the government, recorded Judge Elia Cornejo Lopez bribing her and other board members of $5,000 to be able to get a favorable vote on her lawsuit against BISD at the value of over $750,000. I went back to the library today after the court, and I corroborated that with Philip Cowan. Philip Cowan comes to me saying, "Hey, what you hear?" I said, "Your name came out again, buddy. Your name came out again. That you took $2,000 for a vote to give Sylvia." Well, that's just her saying it. I said, well, it might be her saying it, but she's got a recording of it. She's got many recordings of it, is what she's telling the government, and she wants leniency. The government said, no, guys. The government said, hell no. You took this evidence when a magistrate judge is sitting there and is bribing you and other board members, and you didn't report it? You didn't report a commission of a crime to the FBI? We're not gonna work with you. We will see you in court. This is where we're at, guys. Philip Cowan is running scared. Philip Cowan is running scared, and Minerva is running as scared as she has ever been in her entire life, knowing that it's illegal to sell your votes, let alone for $2,000, guys.
Hey, Kimberly, Ruben Obel, and correct me if I'm wrong, Vito, Carlos, Ruben Obel more than likely will be testifying regarding Sylvia Atkinson mass requests for cash donations to Otis Powers' campaign in the 2018 election, when Otis Powers ran against Carlos Elizondo and Erasmo Castro. It was no secret that she wanted money. She preferred it in cash. And that is what I believe Ruben Obel will be testifying to.
That's correct. That is true.
Yeah.
He's got a text saying that Sylvia Atkinson sent them where he passed a list, and I think Erasmo put it on his page where it's showing, the platinum level and the diamond level or gold level, bronze, star, whatever it is, and it has different amounts of monies that she's requesting people to pay into Otis Powers' campaign. But what she doesn't tell you guys, what she doesn't say, which is testimony that we'll hear if the government requests it, is that in that text also it states, you must give me so much money for each candidate that I'm running, which is Drew Brown and Prissy, but and Otis, but whatever you give them, you must give me, but in cash. So that's the text that was sent out. This is how deep this lady is in bullying people to force him to give her money on the backs of the candidates that she supported. Drew Brown, Prissy, and now in this candidacy or in this election, well, she's got Daniela, she has Denise Garza, she has Little Eddie, and she has one more. Who is the other one? Um, Minerva Peña,
Minerva Peña. Yeah, Minerva Peña, Denise Garza,
Cowan.
and no, I think they try to join up with Jessica Gonzalez, but she's nowhere to be found anywhere.
Right.
Carlos, with all this coming out, I wonder how Noe feels being her lawyer.
Well, you know what I'm telling you. I mean, he's a lawyer to anybody who pays him. I mean, he's doing the best he can, but unfortunately for him, he has a client who has done a lot of ill to a lot of people, and the problem is that she's got caught. She got caught. The evidence is there, not only audio but video. So you see her, you see Sylvia Atkinson taking the money, not once, but twice with an undercover agent, guys. So how can you defend that if I'm seeing it, if I'm a juror and I'm sitting there and I'm looking and I see that Sylvia Atkinson gets a stack of money and puts it in her pocket and she smiles and she walks away. And then she's seen deposited into an ATM. And then, guys, she does it the second time. But the second time she gets 6,000. And she gives the old, got it, or whichever I can't remember this one, I guess. And she puts the 6,000 in her purse and she goes to ATM and she deposits it too. How can you defend that? So guess what? She throws Elia Cornejo under the bus because Elia Cornejo bribed her and bribed Philip Cowan. He just corroborated the story today. And he said that he went to the FBI and reported her too. You know?
Mr. Vito Cardenas, if you could put me on the screen, if you could blow me up, remove the comment, sir. There is a complaint that was filed on Minerva Peña by the Texas Ethics Commission. It is a complaint. It states, "Dear Ms. Peña, we received sworn complaint on October 28, 2020. The complaint meets the legal and technical form requirements for a complaint filed with the Texas Ethics Commission, and the executive director has determined that the commission has jurisdiction over some of the matters alleged in the sworn complaint. The sworn complaint alleges that you did not properly disclose political contributions by omitting complete address information for certain contributors and omitting the full name of one of the contributors in violation of section 254.013 of the election code. The commission accepts jurisdiction over these allegations." Very quickly, just to explain what this is all about, Minerva Peña, through Purdue, a tax firm out of Edinburgh, gave her money, and she disclosed their address as being in Brownsville, Texas, which is an ethical violation because you are hiding the identity. She was trying to mask the identity of the donors, which you cannot do. And there were three, if I'm not mistaken, there were three donors that were from Purdue. And she, on one of them, I think she just put Brandon without a last name. And on the other two, Iram Gutierrez, who is a known attorney for Purdue, who lives in Edinburgh, whose office is out of Edinburgh, she put his address out of BISD. So that's what we have dealing with. Coach Rodriguez and Marisa Leal's opponent, who has 12 years on the board, for whatever reason, is trying to mask who is giving her these campaign donations. What's your take on this, Vito?
Before you start, Vito, let me just reemphasize what you said. This is one of the charges that Atkinson got charged with, is by masking or hiding the individual who actually gave the monies. So this has come up throughout day one through day five, Frankie. So this is not something that's unique to Sylvia Atkinson. Now it's Minerva Peña doing the same thing. Go ahead, Vito. I'm sorry. I just wanted to put that out there.
And that's fine. Well, I've looked at all the campaign finance reports, and it shows that Philip Cowan, Minerva Peña, Denise Garza have all taken money. Eddie Garcia have all taken money from the same vendors that are supporting this group, and especially from Baltasar Salazar. I mean, they're putting their slate together to make sure that they keep the money to themselves, and it's just time after time again what Erasmo has been saying for over a year now, and it's coming to fruition. And I mean, guys, we've all gotten the text of you better watch your back. We're coming for you. And, this is the tactics that, now we have. Yeah, are we looking over our back? Just a little bit. But you know what? One thing, we're not 8 years old.
Or 13.
Too soon.
Guys, also, just so you know, it is very disheartening to see that these individuals who are seeking re-election have been doing what Sylvia Atkinson has done, hiding and masking the money. If they give you money, it's not illegal for a vendor to give you money. What's illegal about it is you hiding who's giving it to you, because then you're showing that you're not being truthful to anybody. If you're not truthful to the people that are giving the money, how are you going to be truthful to the people that are going to elect you there? This needs to stop. We need to change this. Remember November, guys. We need to make sure that all these corrupted individuals are out of office. We need to get Brownsville BISD back on the map to where it was 4 or 5 years ago, guys.
So what is she doing with all the money that she allegedly got? Any ideas? My take, I'll let everybody answer this real quickly. My take is gambling. We all know that she had a gambling problem. She would frequent gambling houses in Rio Hondo, in Brownsville. So that's my take.
Rancho Viejo.
Yeah, but I mean, it's that. I would say that we're talking. Let's just roundabout figure $400,000. I don't think she could blow $400,000 in gambling.
Well, if you put $25,000 on a table every night, you probably go through it pretty quick.
Yeah, you could.
She was a big gambler. It wasn't none of these couple 20s or couple $100s. It was thousands of dollars, guys.
Yeah, and it's, you know what, we can't speculate, but you know what, I'm sure that at some form or time in this trial, they may say, well, you know what, her bank account holds, or a savings account, or a account, because it's been seen that she go right after she gets her money, she goes to the ATM to deposit it, whether it's under her name or an assumed name or a friend's name. I mean, only time will tell, and see what comes out in the trial.
Hey, Vito, what's your take on this question? Since your opponent has put in $50,000 on a non-paying position, why are candidates that are running for BISD spending so much money in their campaign when it's not a paying job?
Well, because if it is a paying job by vendors, as long as the vendors are putting money in their pockets, they're winning their votes. So it's no longer about what the cost effectiveness of what's good for the school district. That's been thrown out the window, because as Carlos stated in day 1 or day 2 of the trial in Rio Hondo, that the bidding process was rigged and turned in after the time, and that which was Escobedo won the bid for that, which he shouldn't have, because he didn't turn it in on time, and she pretty much fixed the paperwork for him to get this. So when vendors are in your pocket, you can't make a rational decision of what should be good for the school district and the community. It's already been bought. What do you think, guys?
I agree with you. The thing here is that it's not. It doesn't become about doing the right thing or the best interest in the school district. It's about what is in the best interest for me. Just look at what Sylvia Atkinson is going through. She made millions millions of dollars. For who? Not for BISD, for herself, for her gambling problems, for her friends, for Minerva, for Philip Cowan, for Drew, for Prissy. That it becomes of what is in the best interest for me, and they forget about everybody else.
Denise has a question that did anybody in the board know about her involvement with the vendors? They all knew. She was giving money to them. She was buying their votes. They're all in on it. And the bad thing about it, they had the moral obligation to do what's right. And they didn't. They kept quiet. Why? Because if I'm going to put the finger on Frankie, well, he can put the finger back at me. And same goes if we were all on the tape. No one can make a rational decision because they're all bought. If one's doing it, the other one's doing it. And if you look at the board today, they're all in on it. But
Yeah,
yes,
you're absolutely.
Go ahead.
You're absolutely right, and I would dare say so. The conflict was that she voted as it was a conflict of interest for her vote because she was an employee of said company. Yes, it is okay to have business with the district as long as you disclose that you have a certain business relationship with the district and you don't partake in any discussions in executive session and you do not vote on it. There have been instances where individuals do have business with the district, and that's fine, but you have to disclose it. There's nothing wrong with having business with the district as long as you disclose it. You fill out the form that you state that there is a conflict, and also you cannot partake in executive sessions discussions about that certain topic issue, and also you cannot vote on it during the time of voting. That's where we're at regarding that.
And Carlos, back to the trial.
So then after lunch, they broke for lunch, and after lunch, the big topic was Sylvia Atkinson information on the bribery attempt of Elia Cornejo Lopez, which was on 8/22/2019, which is a Thursday. So she offered her a bribe for covering for convincing other board members on the BIZ lawsuit. Remember that lawsuit, guys. I don't know if you know that she sued BISD for $1 billion. And so she did from the testimony from Sylvia Atkinson and she says she's got a recording of it that she turned over to the FBI was that Elia Cornejo Lopez went out to bribe board members of BISD for a favorable vote on her lawsuit. Not only did she bribe them, but supposedly she was recorded. But also Philip Cowan corroborated the same thing that Sylvia Atkinson was saying in court today and yesterday and the day before. He says that Elia Cornejo Lopez went up to him and also bribed him. And he went and reported it, whether it be the FBI or the police. He says he said he filed a police report. But Elia Cornejo also bribed Laura. And Laura turned the evidence over to the FBI as well. So you're not only having one board member say that, now you have 3 or 4 board members that are saying that a judge went and bribed these individuals for a favorable decision at BISD.
Carlos, can anyone file a grievance to the district about this case?
I don't know about a grievance. I think it has to be more than a grievance. I think it has to be more law enforcement involvement, whether it be Louis Science or in this case FBI, because they're federal funds, federal programs. So it's probably gonna take the state and the FBI. But I think the FBI has it right now because they're the ones that brought it out with the defense. So I think it's being taken care of.
Lucy has a question here. What do you think the board members will do based on what's going on with the trial? The board is set to meet this Tuesday. Will they have any real power to vote on items that will affect BISD? And once again, Vito, I'm going to ask you if you could bring me up very quickly. Can you blow me up?
Yep.
Here, guys, we have this is on the agenda item coming up for this coming November the 4th. Recommend approve to pay an additional cost of 330 hours at $250 per hour for the board of trustees who requested legal representation, and 30 times 250. I'm not very good with math. 30 times 250, $7,500. Number 2 is recommend approval for payment in the amount of $5,831 to O'Hanlon for legal services, and recommendation and approval for payment in the amount of $13,500 to Garza and Garza. And again, here we have the action, and Garza represented Prissy Roca-Tipton and Drew Brown. Now, guys, is this the option? Do these people have the option to request who they want to have them represent them, Carlos?
Well, it shouldn't be like that. I mean, the teachers and the employees don't have that option. They have to go out and either use union dues or actually pay out of their own pocket. It's unfair that these board members have taken advantage of the school district and the monies of the taxpayers to say, you know what, I messed up. It's my fault, but I'm going to have you pay for it.
Carlos.
Vito, what's your take?
Well, that's what I was going to ask Carlos. Carlos, you were a board member, and when you were sitting on the board member, was this something that was allocated to you as a board member, or is this something that just came up?
Of course not. No, of course not. But I wouldn't have taken it. It wouldn't have been right for me to go and have taxpayers pay for my legal fees. I went out and had to pay for it on my own because you know what?
And I'm guessing this is this type of stipulation that is for the board is because in case they say something wrong during a meeting, that way they're covered by the attorneys of the school district or who they choose.
This Vito, these two agenda items, they're specifically for the trial.
Yeah,
they're not for anything else. So, and again, Garza and Garza, they are out of Linebaugh, if I'm not mistaken. So they're also doing work for Prissy Roca-Tipton and Drew Brown. Just a little FYI. So again, these board members have the option to choose and pick who they want to represent them at the taxpayer's expense. So that's something that will be voted on to the board for this upcoming meeting that is scheduled.
And you would think with all the money that they've already garnished from under the table, they wouldn't need to hire the school district would have to pay for it. This is something that you would say, hey, this is on your dime, not BISD.
Yeah. Hi, Minnie.
I agree. So was Mr. Vera turned in by the girls whistleblower? We don't know. I think they made an outcry. They reached out and it was said for them to file a police report. But there was an outcry.
More in the morning with Erasmo.
If guilty, will she have to pay back the money? Well, the IRS will be coming down hard on her, so we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, I'm thinking that it's going to probably be about $2 million restitution, at least.
Should be more.
Guys, I posted the board agenda. If you all will we'll click on it.
I don't know what that means.
Retired Judge Garza, his son, who ran against Gabby Garcia. Garza and Garza?
No. Is it? I don't believe so.
Yeah, I believe.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I apologize. That's right. Because Drew Brown and them have Drew Brown has a personal connection with Garza and Garza. I apologize.
Yeah, and I believe they also donated to the group.
Nice.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that it's not unfortunate. It's about time, and like we can keep talking about this, how Erasmo, everyone thought Erasmo was crazy when he was saying it time and time again. You were on the show for this last full year during the pandemic, letting everybody know what was going on. And here we are today. Everything unfolding before the voters, before Super Tuesday. Guys, if you haven't gone out to vote, it's time. It's time to make the right decisions and stop wasting your vote. It's time to go grab the ballot, fill it out, and put these people out.
Yeah, on Eddie's response here, she had to also be putting money into the TSC trustee campaigns. Adela Garza Tremendous created a job just for her at TSC's payback. Well, see, that came out today. They came out with the position that she held at TSC, and then that the position was open for her because of the amount of money that she put into these candidates' pockets. She requested $25,000 per head. Remember that. So $25,000 for these individuals for Trey to be able to run not only for TSC but also for the mayor. Adela for her re-election to TSC, and then there's several other individuals that were given these monies. But yes, they did talk about that. They did show that she was in every election, and she had everybody, whether at TSC, the city, county, and BIZ in her pockets, and it all is coming up little by little in this campaign. We've shown you, we've said it. Drew Brown, Prissy. In this case, you have Philip Count taking $2,000 for a yes vote. Minerva Peña, $2,000 for another yes vote, just so that the person who can get the most out of these elections is Sylvia Atkinson in the millions, guys.
Leal had a question. Mentioned Purdue. That's correct. They don't have a contract with the district or the city. The district, like the county and city, all work with Linebaugher too many years. That is correct. Linebaugher right now is on a month-to-month contract. Purdue has other small districts, but you are correct. They don't have BISD.
So, Mr. Conspiracy Theorist, would you think that these people out of Edinburgh are trying to get in now that we have a superintendent and employees that are coming from that area?
Oh, it's no coincidence. Iram Gutierrez and Rene Gutierrez. Oh wow, they have the same name. I don't think they're related, but I do know that they're neighbors, and they both are from Edinburgh. We have seen how the two deputy superintendents are also from Edinburgh. The CFO, Carlos, correct me if I'm wrong, is also from Edinburgh, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So there is an Edinburgh takeover that has occurred. The FNF, did they get hired though? Because I thought that didn't go through. Did she get hired after all?
I think she's hired, but I might be wrong.
I will look into that, because the last I heard, Vito, was that they were in the process of hiring her from Edinburgh. But yes, it is correct. And again, this all goes back to Sylvia. Sylvia had a way of moving those chess pieces. It was no coincidence that Dr. Sylvia Hatton was placed as superintendent. It was no coincidence that Rene Gutierrez was placed as superintendent, because she gave him a big contract, because in her mind, she one day was going to be the superintendent for BISD. She had the 5 votes. Well, she had the 4. She just needed the other one. So this woman thought way ahead. And she's got a very bright mind. So everything that she did was strategically planned for her one day taking that seat of at the superintendent's position. So Vito, to answer your question, do I think this is a coincidence? No, I do not think it's a coincidence that the superintendent's from Edinburgh. Obviously he brings his people in. The 2 assistants are from Edinburgh. Purdue is also from Edinburgh, and they were possibly could be coming in because Linebaugher right now is on a month-to-month contract. So no, I do not think it's a coincidence that the Edinburgh takeover is happening here at BISD.
Also, guys, just to reflect on that notion about Edinburgh and stuff like that, remember, BISD went out to the city and asked them for money to be able to buy more technology equipment, right?
Correct.
Ask them how much of that money has been spent here locally. You're talking about Brownsville is flipping the bill with BISD, yet BISD is going out of Brownsville to hire people from Edinburgh to come and sell us technology equipment?
Oh yeah.
Good point.
Ask yourself that question.
Do you think Minerva, Drew, Phil, and Prissy will be charged?
I can only hope so.
Frankie?
Like I believe,
You know,
like I hope Dallas Cowboys will win. That's how I hope this will happen.
too soon. You know, to be honest, I don't know. I don't know what deal they had with the FBI, if they haven't done one already. We have heard many time and time again, and you know, I hate, you know, I've learned not to doubt Erasmo Castro, and I'm not just saying that just because I'm biased, but everything that he's been saying has been true, and he has been saying that the next ones on the chopping block is Prissy Roca Tipton and Drew Brown. So, do I think that these individuals could get in trouble or are in trouble? I would say yes, guys.
You know, based on that, I would believe that the school district police department would have some involvement, being that code of ethics have been violated, and there should be no meetings until they do their own investigation into this.
You forget that some of the leadership here at the BISD police department are scared of Sylvia Atkinson.
Well, you know, whether it's, you know, they have to do the oath that they took to protect.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
You know, that's the thing. I mean, how many people have their hand in the cookie jar is what it boils down to. Some people need to step up in the school district. It's time to talk.
I agree with you.
There will be no more retaliation. I've run into workers in the school district that approach me at HEB. I'm approachable. I will talk to you. I will give you. You know, we all will. For y'all. So, guys,
I hope so.
Back,
I hope so.
Anything more on the trial, Carlos?
Yeah, there's a couple more things that were brought up. You know, today was a lot of, you know, trying to discredit the agent, and it didn't work. It backfired horribly on the defense. But they did the biggest thing was, you know, in that second meeting that Sylvia had at you know, on August 24, 2019 with the FBI, you know, she said that she could accept the monies because she was a consultant, and that Baltasar Salazar had advised her that she could. So that's why I think that's.
We did miss Leal. We spoke about Purdue and Linebaugher.
Yeah, I think maybe this is just a delayed text or delayed. So that's the biggest thing, you know. But at the same meeting, that second meeting, she admitted to the crime. So she's going back and forth trying to figure out some type of a defense with all the evidence that's stacked against her, and it's really coming down to there is none. There is none. There is no defense right now that I think that will clear her name or get her out of the hole that she put herself in.
Back to Jesse's question, real quick. Jesse, good to see you, and thank you for your vote. I don't believe so. I believe people are tired, and they're watching everything unfold. And for those that probably had already thought of voting for our opponents, have changed their mind, seeing that how corrupt the school board is. So and we need your help, Jesse. Call all our friends. Call your family. We need post it on your social media. We have one more day, and 5 of us can make a difference in the school board, and we're not going to let you down.
Yeah.
Hey, Carlos. So far, day 5. How would you categorize or how would you rate on day 5 the federal government and the defense based on your observation on this Friday? Who do you think is in the lead? And also, what has been the reaction from the jury for today?
Well, today was very eventful, and there was a little bit more expression from the jury. when the defense went up there and started, berating the agent, it got to the point to where the defense was raising their voice and had to be told, "Hey, you know what? Calm down, relax." And the response from the defense is, "It's been a long day, Judge. It has been." And then the defense was, I mean, the jury was like kind of like laughing and nodding, but you can see it in their face where they were kind of, hey, this is getting a little bit too much. It's belittling, berating, badgering, and they had to continually address, the judge had to continually address the defense. Hey, ask the question, ask the question. This kind of testimony, you leave it up to the jury to decide. Ask the question, and the question will be answered if he knows the answer. And that went on for about 3 hours. So I think right now, if you're asking me who's on the lead, it's going to be the amount of evidence that's been shown by the government. It's unsurmountable, and right now, I think the defense is looking for any type of way out, even to the fact that they threw out that Sylvia wanted to cooperate with the bribery allegations for Judge Conejo Lopez, but it was a little too late now. It was a
Carlos, why is the media saying that she got arrested in August 2020? Is that when she wanted to cooperate? Is that wrong? Is that
yes, when she actually went to the FBI with the information on the bribery from Elia Conejo Lopez. She actually went over there with the evidence saying, "Hey, you know what? I have evidence here of a judge bribing me for a favorable vote, for her BISD lawsuit." That's the day. She went on the 22nd of August, and then she went again on the 24th of August. But the government said it's a little too late for that. You should have reported that when it happened. In her case, to help herself out,
So then, just for clarification purposes, the reporting that she was arrested in August 2020 is incorrect.
Yeah, I think she was arrested before that. She was arrested somewhere in, I think, was it June, July?
December 6th, I believe.
What's that?
I believe it was December 6th, Sylvia.
Yeah, somewhere or other. Yeah, December something. But yeah, she didn't get arrested again. She was just trying to find a way out. In other words, she wanted to become an informant, I guess, for the government.
There was a question. Did Trey and Niece endorse that money given to BISD? I personally don't think they knew about it, but that's just me.
Yeah. Today, Coach Joe's name was mentioned. Carlos.
After lunch, remember, I got there a little late, so I think it happened before me. So I didn't get that.
Okay.
Nelda did mention it. I just did. I wasn't there when it came out. I got there at 8:17. I think this happened right before I got there because it started at 1. Yeah.
So pretty much the day ended, and I know that Erasmo was praying and crossing fingers and turning on cauldrons for the prosecution to rest. But I already told him, Brownsville night at 9. We have a new show.
Hey, Carlos, how hard is it for monies to be allocated to a different department? Sunshine here says Sandra Powers overlooks the athletic department. Any chance she allocated athletics money elsewhere? Is that an administrator, or is that just the board who can do that?
Well, I think they receive a budget, and so her budget is used however she sees fit. So maybe that's what she's talking about. But I tell you, the way to be able to do it is to create an audit. Once we get there, we can go out there and we make sure that the departments that we feel that have had any issues become an audit, or we make them go through an audit to see if everything's on the up and up.
What's y'all's take on Charlie getting the athletic the high school gig?
Well, I mean,
when he was first hired, it was not to using the word kind of shady. He was bypassed by a lot of people that were in line to get into BISD, and it all had to do with his family already on board.
thank you, Mary.
It's sad that everyone that has studied to be a teacher or a coach
Thank you, Hilda.
were overlooked, and that's pretty easy to say that he didn't earn his position.
Yeah. See, the Linda says that the lady from FNS is from Edinburgh too.
Guys, what's your take on Mary Tolman? She's in charge of federal money. You think she has something to do with this in all this?
I'll tell you what, I don't have any information that she did, but I can tell you that just hearing how the sister, is involved in everything, the potential is very high. She was there today and she seemed to be cheering on her sister whenever the defense was throwing punches, but right after the government got in there, she was very, very quiet. Why is Cornejo in the district? I think it has to do with the daughter. She didn't get in some points when she came in from middle school to high school. She felt that she was being discriminated against. So she decided to sue the district for $1 billion with a B. Boy, $1 billion.
A lot of ties with BISD, the Slang Barger Group, since forever. Muchos favores, no se vale. They've had the contract for quite a bit. You are correct. Erasmo was right. Sylvia was and is going to throw everyone under the bus.
Correct.
Vito, do you think a person who has their back against the wall is willing to give up their friends?
You know what? It's unfortunate, but it's sounding like that because her back is against the wall. She can't grasp for anyone to save her. So in my theory, what's occurred is she didn't take a deal. She tried to make a deal that was rejected. So instead of her saying, hey, well, I know everybody who's involved with me, she just said, hey, you know what? I'm going to take it to trial. And then if they bring up all the people that were involved, now everybody knows. And I didn't give them up.
Hey, Carlos, based on what you said, didn't she come back? Didn't Sylvia come back in August?
Yeah, she did. She came back. I tell you, this is the kind of person she thinks she is. She thinks she's walking, as an innocent person. But with the evidence there, just her demeanor there today. Normally you'll see her sitting up, real straight, kind of talking, kind of, dialoguing with her. Today she's like this. She's doing a lot of research. She's trying to figure out how she can get out of the hole she put herself into, And then of course her family's going to support her there. You got Sandra Powers and you have Mary Tolman and then maybe a couple of other people there. But when they start talking about the evidence, when they start showing the videos, you can see their demeanor is just, kind of like hunched over.
Talking about Mary Tolman, is there a way that the superintendent, Carlos, or is this just the board members' request that the superintendent could reassign her and do an audit, or is that just the board members that have that power?
No, not at all. The superintendent can reassign anybody and then audit that department. It doesn't have to be board members.
So Vito, my question is, why hasn't Mary Tolman been moved, knowing that her sister has been alleged to have accepted bribes and manipulated the system? Why do you think there's been this reluctance to move the Atkinson family from key positions?
I want to say because of the feds, and it's one of those. She hasn't been proven guilty yet, but I'm pretty sure a lot of things are going to happen after the decision whether she's guilty or not. And also back to what y'all were talking about, I believe that she went back to the school district and sat in her seat back in August to see what more dirt that she could get from her fellow board members. That way she could have something, you know what? Since she's a gambler, You know, she needed to collect as many cards to put on the table.
Good point. I didn't think about that, but
Hey, but
you're right.
But what do I know?
Is there something you want to tell us, Vito?
Well, I've got a lot, but I'm gonna wait till after November 3rd.
Hey, now you just don't know if you're gonna survive till then.
I want to be able to come back to a show with some meat and potatoes of my own.
Hey guys, what's your take on there being a board meeting the day after the election? Do you think that is proper? And why do you think they're doing this?
Well, obviously you
That's
show
wrong. That's wrong.
they need to approve the checks for the attorneys that are representing the school board members. But it should be one of those where there should be no meeting, and let the new board decide whether those the amounts that they're asking for are correct. How do we know that? Oh, that's what they're charging. You know, it could be a lot less, and taking the school district for more money. But then again, what do we know? But hopefully November 3rd, there'll be a change in everything. 5 new seats, 5 people that are going to do what's right. Because why? You know, I know, Carlos, I met Frankie now. He hangs out with my nieces and nephew, so that's a plus.
You know, I'm a little concerned as to the reasoning behind it. It seems, guys, like they're doing one last hurrah. And going back to extending the superintendent's contract for 1 more year with only 10 months on the job. They build up that security, and them trying to put everything, in my opinion, everything right before the 5 new board members come in isn't proper. You know, we should wait and let the new board decide, just the way Mr. Philip Cowan said, hey, let's let the new board decide the fate of Baltasar Salazar. Why is there a rush? If these individuals are confident that they'll be back, they should wait. Just how they said, we'll let the other board decide. That's just my opinion regarding regarding their persistence on having a meeting the day after the election.
Agreed, man. Agreed 100%.
Yeah. Carlos, pretty much the trial ended up, and who was left on the hot seat, or who are they going to bring back on Monday?
Actually, they still have a little bit more to go with the Agent Coben, and it looks like there's not that much left because it was a redirect. And then the government says that if they don't bring in Ruben Obel, they will rest on Monday. Well, but witnesses that are coming in, of course, is Baltasar Salazar and Trey Mendez. But the decision of the judge will say if Baltasar Salazar will be allowed to testify or not because of his past.
What's y'all's take on Mayor Trey Mendez? You know, what could he possibly come up and say in Atkinson's defense?
The only thing is probably relevant to the text message or the message that was sent to collect monies for candidates willing to deal with her, and her having, like she said, oh, I've got city officials in my pocket, I've got the judge in my pocket, I have county officials in my pocket, I've got people at TSC in my pocket, you know, like Carlos was saying, all the way up to pretty much the governor's office.
That's correct. Also, you got to remember that they're talking about moving people. Rene Gutierrez is fearful of Sylvia Atkinson. Not only that, Sylvia Atkinson is the one that put him in that position. So he is not going to go against Sylvia Atkinson and move Mary Tolman out from that office to at least to show that there is some type of decency within the district, to make sure that we have controls, you know, and then audit not only her department but every other department that there is some inconsistencies with.
Well,
Whatever the I'm sorry, go for it.
Pretty much we're pretty much out on time, and I'm getting ugly texts from Erasmo to cut the show. And you know, he'll turn off the lights on me, and it gets kind of scary in this place when you don't know how to get around.
When all 5 seats are taken, can you guys get la señora que barre los huevos to go out, the bad juju out? And you know, guys, BISD, in all seriousness, BISD is going to need a lot of healing. There is a lot that has been going on within the district for, how long has Atkinson been at the district? And we have seen time and time again how her family members have instilled fear in employees. Even right now, guys, even right now, people still fear her, and people are so brainwashed that they feel that she's going to beat the rap. So there is going to be a lot of time of healing, a lot of time of recuperating, of getting back on our feet for the district. So it's going to be very, very tough. But I'm up for the challenge.
Jody Young.
Yeah. Carlos, final thoughts?
Guys, just thank you for staying with us and allowing us to keep you informed, and thank you for your support and your vote. We do need you guys to go out and do it once more. November the 3rd is the last day to vote. Make sure that everybody gets out there, family and friends. The best thing you can do is go down your phone book list, call them, and find out, see if they've gone to vote. If not, let us know. We can give them a ride to the voting polls. Appreciate it, guys. Much love. Thank you, guys. Been tired, week. I look exhausted. I feel exhausted, but I wouldn't change it for the world. Thanks for letting us tune in and giving you guys the news.
Frankie, final thoughts?
Last day of early voting. We have done. I understand the serious nature of the criminal charge and time, money, and resources being expended. I'm I believe it's a concerned parent. We need to also focus on our schools opening and our children's health in the middle of pandemic. Knowing about the trial is fantastic. Remember, our children need to be thought of first. And you're absolutely right. It is important for us to recognize that there are employees who are still not wanting to return. So it is very important for us to remember that the safety and well-being of not only BISD but the city of Brownsville is of our 3 and the five that are running. Marisa Leal, Coach Joe, Vito, Argelia Miller, Carlos Elizondo, Erasmo Castro. They have time and time again said that the number one priority will be for the safety and well-being of our community as a whole. And I would agree with this comment. It's not going to be easy. We understand that there are teachers with underlying conditions that they do not want to go back. And my concern is that if they don't have to be back, they shouldn't be back. We understand that there are some teachers that, for whatever reason, they prefer to go back, and more power to them. We will allow them to, if that is their choice. But we have to do what is best for everybody as a whole. We cannot make decisions based on a few individuals. So I absolutely am in agreement with this comment. It is important for us to recognize the community as a whole. But again, this is the last day of final voting. It is all now upon us. If we are satisfied with the recent and current administration and direction, then vote for our opponents. If you want change, if you want individuals that provide this platform that will be bringing you the latest information to your TV, to your phone, to your projectors, vote for us, because that is what we will bring to the BISD school board. I think that's very important. People want to be in the know. Knowledge is power. And that is what we need. We need individuals that will be transparent, that will be honest, and would allow us as a community to make the decisions in what's best for everybody. Thank you so much, guys. I am very confident in this Tuesday. That does not mean that we are going to stop working for our ultimate goal. And for myself, speaking for myself, that is to serve the BISD community, my community, our community as a BISD trustee. So thank you so much for the faith, for the confidence, for the motivation that you guys have given me. This has been a crazy, crazy ride, guys. Running for politics is not easy. My respect to everybody who throws their name into the ring, because this is serious business. So I am very thankful for the opportunity that my community has given me. One more day, baby. One more day, Tuesday. for all the marbles. So thank you so much to my community, our community,
Thank you, Paloma.
for giving me this opportunity to serve in this capacity. I hope on Tuesday we are victorious. Thank you so much, guys. You guys have a good weekend.
Before we cut us all off, to the viewers, the questions that we didn't answer for you this evening and that do not pertain to the trial, Erasmo can answer those for you in the morning show, having to do with as long as it doesn't have to do with the trial. So, guys, thank you very much. Y'all have a nice evening. Everyone at home, thank you for letting us into your home and letting us open your eyes to what's going on in the city of Brownsville. We'll see y'all in good night.